Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
The U.S. economy created 1.8 million jobs in July, reflecting what the Labor Department called the country's continued resumption of economic activity that had been curtailed due to the coronavirus pandemic. The unemployment rate dropped to 10.2%. Economists have said the speed of hiring will depend on the virus. Many consumers remain hesitant to shop when the infection rate is high.
That's right. That's it. There you go. More. Real unemployment's probably closer to about 18 to 20%, give or take. So that's where we are in this situation. Real unemployment, probably closer to 18 to 20%. Some people say in some areas it may be closer to 22, 23. Other areas may be closer to 15. That's real unemployment. We do the real thing here. It's ugly, and it's not getting any better anytime soon. While we still see some spikes here and there, and you turn on the TV and 24/7, it's just doom and gloom. Oh my gosh, the world's coming to an end. I don't know what to say. You know, people ask me, how do you talk about this every day? I said, well, we try to talk about a lot of things. I said, here's the reality of this is it's worked its way across the country. Is there going to be a second wave that's going to be huge? Don't know. Right? Are they going to come up with a magical vaccine? Even if they came up with one today that they knew was 100%, the amount of time it's going to take to get out there, we're still talking several months before things go back to the way they were. So, but at the end of the day, we're going to get through this. Whether it's the next 3 months, 6 months, or a year, we're going to get through this. This sucks, but the panic porn of the news media doesn't help. But part of that is the way that we're built. We gravitate towards it, right? It's like, oh my God, doom and gloom. It's like Shark Week. It's a perfect example of human nature, and I could be as guilty as anybody. What's the best time of Shark Week that you watch? You watch the attacks. Like tomorrow night on Shark Week, we're going to go deep inside the mind of a hammerhead, and we're going to do scientific blah, 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 blah. And you're like, oh, I'm not going to watch that. I don't really care about that. Then the next day, it's like surfers attack Shark Week. You're like, oh, I'm watching that. We are that. We're built like that. That's why algorithms are set in such a way that the emotion side of it will get you to pay more attention than anything else. So, numbers, not great. Now, what's the deal? I mean, where are we headed? How are we getting there?
If you take a look at the last 20 weeks, more than 1 million Americans have been laid off every single week for the last 20 weeks. Last week alone, 1.2 million Americans were laid off. That means the numbers are moving in the right direction, but they are still 6 times what we would consider normal for a week of layoffs in the United States.
So 6 times still. 20 weeks into this, we're still 6 times the normal look of what it should be. It's all coronavirus. Now, I think it's going to improve steadily because Arizona's getting back on its feet. California, I think, has been a huge, California's a massive, it's the 5th largest economy in the world. When you have lockdowns like they do, what do you expect? Florida and Texas seem to be through their worst, even though it's not great. Big states, big economies. So once I think they emerge from the other side of this, I think you'll see it pick up steadily, but it's still going to be a while. And there's that psychological aspect that we always forget about and nobody ever talks about, which is people are a little scared to go out if they think they're going to get sick. Right? And they are. They're a little, and also the psychological side of it where people are like, I don't know if I should spend money right now because even though I'm not worried about getting sick, I am worried about my job. And that's a huge part of it. If you think that you may not have a job a month from now and you've got some money in the bank and you are looking to do some stuff, but you're worried about whether or not you're going to be employed and have a steady income, you're not going to spend that money. You're not going to spend that money. The question is, where do we go?
It really comes down to three things, how this all goes. The virus itself, consumers, how we as Americans feel about the economy. Are we willing to spend? And the government, its response. There is a stalemate happening right now in Washington over those benefits, those $600 checks that unemployed Americans have been relying on since March.
Yeah, and that's the other side of it. For at least now. Where do we go? Well, for some people, they're still going to go on about their everyday jobs. Outside of social distancing, maybe not being able to see grandma and grandpa, having, not going to the movies or out to dinner as much, and the kids being home all the time, life is kind of what it is. It's more of it's at like 55%. For me, my life hasn't changed that much. I don't know if that's good or bad, meaning, you kind of live a boring life. I kind of do, I kind of do. I'm very solitude creature. I have a small group of folk and family and friends. And, I like to spend a lot of time alone, which I think is good. But, man, I'm telling you, there's a lot going on. And now you look over and you see what's going on with the Senate and the battle that's happening there. They can't seem to get anything right.
We got no indication that they are any closer than when they began more than a week ago. So, they all just basically came out and said we're very far apart. We're not going to keep, Secretary Mnuchin told us, we're not going to keep coming back every day if we can't get a deal. And, you never, ever, it's never, ever a good thing when the Speaker of the House is basically, saying that what the administration was offering to Democrats was a Sophie's choice.
A Sophie's choice. Oh, my goodness. Sophie's choice. Both of them want their pork. Both of them want that stuff inside of there. Nobody wants to do the right thing. And they just battle. That's it. They just battle. They're not interested. And they're battling over the dumbest stuff. They are. They're battling over the dumbest stuff. How much pork can you get into it? Rand Paul was right, man. And I've been saying it for a long time, too. When they start to come together and they start negotiating and they start saying we're getting somewhere, we think we're on the path to success, what that means is the path to success is littered with pork, pork, pork.
When you don't see the political leadership supporting public health and letting people know that everything will be guided by the best public health science, you lose trust.
Yeah, of course you lose trust. So you've got people that don't feel like the leaders aren't doing the things that they should be doing when it comes to how we're dealing with this virus. And we push back. You've got leaders in Washington when it comes to the economy side. They don't trust each other, and they only want what they want. Then where does that leave us, the tired, exhausted majority, to do the things that we should be doing, which is realizing that we need to be in charge of what it is that we do in our own lives. It's that simple. You need to take personal responsibility. You need to be moving forward, doing the things that's right for you. That's the reality of it. You can only do what's best for you. What does that mean, Chad? Well, it means just simple things, right? You look out there, you're like, I'm going to do a little social distancing. I'll wear a mask when applicable. I'll bust my butt, maybe not spend so much, be smart, keep my head above water. What if you're, not working? Is there no jobs out there? Are you waiting for your job to come back? Don't wait for the government to save you at this point in time. Oh, they'll probably come up with something that'll cost us a ton down the line. But at this point in time, you got to start saying to yourself, I need to figure out how I'm going to do this on my own. And that's tough because you've got schools, and we're going to address that here in a little bit, that are closed. A lot of people out there with kids, they don't know what to do with the kids as far as, one of us is going to have to stay home. You've got situations where you're not sure if your job's coming back, so what do? Do you wait and see if they're going to get something right? Because let's be real, they'll get something done. But sitting around waiting for them to rescue is ridiculous. And each state is doing their own thing, and you never even know from day to day what your state's doing. I couldn't tell you day to day where we're headed here in Arizona. Could not tell you day to day. Are we open? Are we closed? Is this open? Is that open? Why is this thing closed and this thing open? Don't know. What's the science behind this? Couldn't tell you. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. You can text the program as well. Love hearing from every single one of you. Hope all is well. It's beautiful Friday. Let me tell you, slept well last night. My pillow out like a light. My beautiful bed laid down. My head hit my pillow. Where it went. Right now they got a BOGO going on. What is a BOGO? Buy one, get one. Made in the USA, which is great, right? Most comfortable pillow in the world, absolutely. 60-day money-back guarantee, 10-year warranty. And when you buy one, get one, that's everything. Neck and bolster pillows, duvet covers, rolling Golding pillows, you name it. You buy one, you get one for free. You go to the radio listener special page at mypillow.com. Use the promo code Benson. When you do, start shopping. On the way out, once you got everything, order Mike Lindell's book. When you do that, he's going to ship everything for free and give you a $25 gift card towards your next purchase. MyPillow.com. The promo code is Benson. MyPillow.com. Promo code Benson. Chad Benson Show.
I, you, he, she, it. Lucy is a girl.
Point of personal privilege, please do not use gendered language to address everyone.
Shut up, boo. Ain't nobody got time for this.
This is the Chad Benson Show.
The president says that when Americans download these apps, they're putting their privacy at risk. So now he is putting TikTok and WeChat on notice, ramping up the pressure for these Chinese-owned companies to sell these apps. Now, TikTok responding, saying they are shocked by this executive order. The president giving American companies just 45 days to stop doing business with the apps.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how this works, how you're going to stop people from using the app, what you're going to do. I get what he's saying. I got zero problems with it. You know, today I was joking. I posted a picture. You can check it out on Twitter and Instagram at Chad Benson Show. So, you know, you have the opportunity to get a bunch of masks that, you know, we give them out. Make sure everybody here has a mask. And this mask that I get, cool looking, looks like a Vans tennis shoe kind of thing, black and red checkers. Back of it says made in China. I'm just laughing. It's a battle that needs to be addressed here. By the way, Biden is not going to fight that battle. Presidents before Trump have kind of ignored China, as have a lot of people. Us as Americans. It's consumerism as much as it is, you know, people say it's greed, it's greed, it's greed. It's consumerism too. We like our stuff cheap. We don't want to spend $1,200 on a TV. Want to spend $600 on a TV. We don't. We like our stuff cheap. So you get it made elsewhere. You go elsewhere. They get it done cheap. You're able to sell it. We've got to start asking ourselves, is that what we want? We need to take China head on. It's a different world out there, and we have to address and it's not about, people say when you say stuff like that, Chad, it sounds like you don't like, it's zero to do with the Chinese people. It's all to do with, let's be real. Xi has set himself up to be a ruler for life. More so than even Putin. They have a dream to dominate. It was supposed to be, I think, to 2047 before they even thought about Hong Kong and what to do with it. What'd they wait, 20 years? They don't care. They're about winning at all cost. So when I listen to somebody say something about TikTok, why don't we get rid of TikTok? I'm like, you guys have no idea. Zero idea. Zero. They want to win. And it's okay to go after them head on. Because the world has two choices. Our choice or their choice. That's where we're headed. And more nations and more presidents need to stand up and say, nope. It's a powerful world that no. Hey, no. I'm not going to allow this anymore. Your intellectual property, you guys have been stealing for years. You lie, cheat, and steal, and nobody's held you accountable, and they need to hold you accountable. They need to. It is amazing. It is truly... Look what they're doing to the Uyghurs. Look what they're doing to the Uyghurs. Look what they're doing to human beings. Shaving their heads. Putting them on trains. That sound familiar? But Chad, I like my 99 cent. Yeah, I know. We like cheap stuff. I get it. We need to hold them accountable. We absolutely need to hold them accountable. Not just us, the world does. How many people are being held by the Chinese government? I don't know. Some people say 3 million, some people say 2 million. Split the difference, 2.5 million in re-education camps. How's that work out? Going on right now. Going on right now. I'm telling you, hold accountable. Hold accountable. It's what we need. They're expanding their reach. Look what they're doing in the oceans. It's time that we really have a come to Jesus moment about what's going to happen. And do you think they want another 4 years of Trump or another 4 years of Biden? That's what they're hoping for. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me, text the program as well. Love hearing from every single one of you. Check out the Instagram and, of course, Chad Benson Show TV on the old YouTube on this beautiful Friday. It's beautiful, isn't it? It's gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful. B-U-T-ful. Chad Benson Show.
Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
See, the thing is, they don't believe in governance, and that requires some acts of government to do that. Perhaps you mistook them for somebody who gives a damn for what you just described. That's the problem. If we're talking about how much and how long, and if we're going to juggle some of this money, let's focus it where it's going to do the most good. And basically, economists tell us, spend the money, invest the money, for those who need it the most, because they will spend it. It will be a stimulus, or at least a stabilization.
They don't believe in governance. That's all you believe in. And by the way, I'm going to say there's a right thing to do here, and this is let's get people that need the help the money. Let's come to some agreement when it comes to liability. Let's not put pork in this thing. And go for there. You can come back and address issues like your $1.7 billion FBI building and how many billions upon hundreds of billions of dollars we need to give to states who have overspent for years, and they exhausted what rainy day fund they had when times were good, and now, we've got tons of unfunded liabilities. What do? You can address that at a later date. Right now, this moment, let's address the issue that needs to be addressed. Republicans don't believe in governance, and the Democrats, they don't believe in individual responsibility and only believe in governance. The government's here for you, for everything.
They were unwilling to meet in the middle. They said it mostly has to be their way, and they admitted that.
Both of you aren't meeting in the middle. That's the reality is. Both of you aren't meeting in the middle. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us, text the program as well. Will we have a vaccine?
The vaccine could be ready around November 3rd. Are you optimistic that will happen?
On the vaccine? I am. I'm optimistic that it'll be probably around that date. I believe we'll have the vaccine before the end of the year, certainly, but around that date, yes, I think so.
Election day. Vaccine. I don't know when we're going to get a vaccine. And how many vaccines are we going to get? That's the other thing. How many vaccines are we going to get? Are we going to get a couple vaccines here in America? Are we going to get several vaccines globally? Yeah, I think it's a possibility. And I'm sure they're going to be different effectiveness and different cost. So Europe is going to probably come up with one or so. You've got Australia and Asia working on, what was they called, Australasia, as they would say, working on vaccines as well. And, you know, we've got vaccine testing and trials going on right now at hyper speed. We will probably get some. Some may come as early as the end of the year or even before that. And I bet we get a domino effect of several right after that, after the beginning of the year into, like, say, March, April. We will see. How effective? I could not tell you. Hell, our testing's not even right, huh? How about Governor DeWine?
Governor of Ohio, DeWine, just tested positive just here. And we want to wish him the best. He'll be fine.
Then they did another test, and he tested negative. So we can't even get the testing right, for God's sakes. How are we going to get the vaccine right? Think about that for a second. We can't get one thing right. Testing is crazy. That's why when I look at the numbers, I'm like, I don't even know what the... First of all, look at the numbers. Oh, it's 4.84 million people. How many is it really? Mm-hmm. How many people right now listening to the show may have it? Don't even know. Shows no symptoms. What little symptoms you have, you pass off like everybody else has. I think it's allergies. It's just allergies. Might be. No, I didn't drink enough. That's why I got a headache. And that's it. And then the next day it kind of goes away and you get a headache a day or two. You're like, I didn't have any caffeine. You're never going to know the real amount of how many people. CDC comes out every week or so, says, well, we think it's about, for every one person that we test and test positive, there's probably anywhere between 5 and 20 people that have had it and never knew they had it. Well, that's a huge stretch. But the testing side of it's still a debacle. It is. How do we not have a test that's almost instantaneous? Wait 2 days, 3 days. So the morning guy, so I do my other show, and the morning guy, I was on with him this morning. He got 3 tests because he said he didn't feel good earlier this week. He was coughing, and they said, well, you probably need to go have it checked out. And he's just like, I think it's stupid. I think it's allergies and asthma because that's what he has, asthma. And sure enough, he had to go 3 different places to get a test, with the 3 different places, and 2 he got back within about 36 hours, and the other one they said it's going to be several more days. I'm just like, this is spectacular. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me, text the program as well. I love hearing from every single one of you. Oh, Biden and Trump. I said yesterday, I tweeted it out. How about this? Instead of 3 debates, and I don't even know if we're going to have that many. Instead of 3, 1, 2, 3, we have 2 debates and a competency test. Live on television for the world to see. So we can ask ourselves, are you all there or are you not there? What makes me laugh, somebody said today, I think one's a little bit deranged, and I think the other one's a little bit mentally not all there. It's crazy, though, the way that the medias cover all of this. Trump yesterday.
Shifting production to Thailand.
That's so funny. What are you thinking about, Trump? Well, he's not there, Chad. You can already tell. He's not there. He called it Thailand. He did.
Shifting production to Thailand.
He did call it Thailand. And, of course, we've seen more and more of what what Biden does. Biden now, he can't come out of his hole for any more than a few hours, and he's always putting his foot in his mouth yesterday.
What you all know, but most people don't know, unlike the African-American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things. Unlike the African-American community.
Wait, what? Yeah, wait, hold on, what?
Unlike the African-American community and many other communities. You're from everywhere. From Europe, from the tip of South America, all the way to our border in Mexico and in the Caribbean.
Huh? That's... If Trump says that, he's the grand wizard. The day before, the struggles that Biden had, and then he said to that reporter, "Are you a junkie?" I'm fine with a competency test, both sides. Let's let it go. What if they both fail? What if they both pass? What if one fails? I don't know. It would be great. It's not going to happen. It's not. It's not going to happen. Trump goes out yesterday. He's on the campaign trail. He's got to do something. He is.
Joe Biden's policies put China first and America last. And that's what he'll continue to do if he ever got this shot. And you will have a disruption in the markets, the likes of which our country has never seen. You will have a crash in the markets because he's going to double and triple your taxes. He's going to do things that nobody ever would ever think even possible because he's following the radical left agenda.
Is he going to raise taxes? Oh, absolutely he's going to raise taxes. 100%. Corporate taxes are going to go straight back up. We're going to have to pay for this some way. Let's be real. All the money we're borrowing, all the stuff that we're doing, we're going to have to pay for it, regardless of who's in that position of power. It's just how much can you take? Yesterday we talked about it. You got old Cuomo there begging all of his rich friends and everybody, come on back. I know you don't want to pay the taxes here, but please come back. I'll take you to dinner. Sorry, bro. California is trying to retroactively put a tax in. It's nuts. So many of these people, they don't see you as anything other than a paycheck and dollar bills. Trump continues.
Take away your guns, destroy your Second Amendment, no religion, no anything, hurt the Bible, hurt God. He's against God, he's against guns, he's against energy, our kind of energy.
Our kind of energy. First of all, I don't think he's against God, so I'm going to call that BS on that. Although, who knows? Maybe at night he's a Satanist. But I don't think he is. I don't think he's an atheist. Maybe I'm wrong. I think he's against God. Against guns? You know what? They said that about Obama. Last time I checked, he was the greatest thing for gun sellers outside of COVID. Energy? Yes, a lot he wants to do with energy. Taxes? Oh, yeah. Am I afraid that the uber progressive left is going to run him over? 100%. 100%. Do I have a question about his mental faculties being there all the time? I do. I absolutely do. And I think it's a fair question. Just like if you want to have a fair question about Trump, you want to talk about it, fine. Let's let them do it live. We're doing it live. So there's a lot of questions out there from both sides that need to be asked honestly. And I got zero problems with that. Do I think he's going to hurt God? I do not. Do I think he is going to that hates the Bible in the country? I don't. Would I have liked to see Joe Biden if that was the candidate, if you will, from like 10 years ago, 12 years ago. It was like, to me, I looked at somebody like John McCain. God bless John McCain, but when he ran for president, his maverick days were behind him. And I think the same thing for Joe. I think Joe of 10 years ago probably would have given Trump a much better run for the money. Doesn't mean that Joe's going to lose by any stretch of the imagination. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But at the end of the day, there's questions about both of these guys. But you're going to have to ask yourself, which way do you want to go? Which way? My fear with Joe is he isn't all there all the time, and he is going to allow the uber progressive left to run everything. My questions with Trump is Trump. So both have serious flaws, but this is what we've got. 370 million people, no strong third party. These are our choices. It's happening November 3rd, whether these two guys like it or not. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at me, text the program as well. Check out Chad Benson Show TV on the old YouTube. Car Shield, as we all try to save money, as we all look forward to the future and say to ourselves, what are we going to do? It's a great time to buy a brand new car, but for many people out there, you guys are thinking, no, not for me at this moment. And I like my cars. For me, I've got an older car and I've got a bit of a newer car. I got Car Shield on both of them. One protects the electronics. The other one protects the stuff like the engine and the transmission. Depends on what it is that you're looking for. How many miles does your car have on it? Are you worried about the air conditioning? Car Shield is there for you. You get 24/7 roadside assistance, a rental car for free while your car's in the shop. You choose the shop. They get them paid directly. You pay a small deductible. Plans start as low as $99 a month. Call them up. Explain exactly what you're looking for. 800-CAR-6000. It's that simple. 800-CAR-6000. Use code Benson. Saves you 10%. Visit the website, carshield.com/Benson. Carshield.com. Use promo code Benson. Saves you 10%. A deductible may apply. Chad Benson Show.
Set Chad straight. Text the show, 323-538-2423. That's 323-538-CHAD. Someone has to do it. Might as well be you. The Chad Benson Show.
It's a double dose of Seth Rogen in his new film, An American Pickle, in which Rogen plays a modern-day guy who, because of a freak accident, gets to hang out with his own great-grandfather.
This is nuts.
Also played by Rogen. And he says playing both roles really helps solidify one of the main themes of the movie.
You kind of are inseparable from your ancestors and your religion in many ways, and as much as you might try to kind of avoid some of those subjects because they're painful to you or complicated to you, they just are a part of you.
An American Pickle is out today on the streaming service HBO Max.
Yeah, I don't know what to watch this weekend. I'm trying to figure it out. Relax. I'll tell you what I'm going to watch mostly, though, this weekend. It's golf. What? Yeah, golf. So right now the PGA Championship's going on. I'm loving this, and I'll tell you why. It's going on in prime time. So normally you've got, golf's played all over the country, but this championship, which is one of the majors, is being played in San Francisco. They start later, so it's prime time. They're going to finish probably at 10 o'clock on Eastern time on Sunday, 7 o'clock on the West Coast. And I will guarantee you it's going to beat all other sports this weekend. It's going to blow it out of the water. Watched it yesterday. It was awesome. Right? And if you've not, there's a guy by the name of Bryson DeChambeau. He is he's the mad scientist of golf. And when the quarantine happened, he's a big dude, but thin, thinnish, about average. quarantine happened, he put on 50 pounds almost of muscle and some size too. It wasn't all, not just all muscle, but you could tell it was a change. Like when you see somebody you haven't seen for years and they look totally different. That was Bryson in like 50 days, 60 days. You can say, wow, people are starting hearing rumbles. He hits the ball so far. It is must-see TV. And like to the point where other guys who hit the ball farther than any average golfer could dream of, he'll hit the ball 60, 80, 100 yards sometimes further than they do. And now people are questioning, is it steroids? But yesterday, he swang so hard, he went to pick up his tee, and his club just fell apart. It was awesome. That's what I'm going to be watching most this weekend. No politics, just some golf. I enjoy it. It's very relaxing, and it's fun, and the strategy, it's just great. And again, no politics. It's the beauty of that. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me, text the program. Check out Chad Benson Show TV. We're going to put up a new video a little bit later today. Check that out. Go to all the social medias and catch up all the stuff we're doing in between these crazy, wonderful, wacky shows. It is the Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
We're not going to just keep on coming back every day if we can't get to a deal. We've said by the end of the week we wanted to reach an agreement on the major issues.
They're nowhere near. That's how much they have a disdain for one another. And all they do is just tell each other how crappy the other side is and how it's everybody else's fault. Nobody wants to take any kind of responsibility for a failure to get something done when it comes to a stimulus. And that's because they're both only interested in the politics of it all. And if you don't think that's true, you're fooling yourself. Both sides have their special interest they got to keep happy, so you got to put it full of pork. That's the reality. Both sides. Big business, unions. How do we keep everybody happy? How about you guys just do a bill? Simple. It's easy. I'm not asking a lot, right? So one bill, this is your job. It's kind of your thing. And we don't ask LeBron James, hey, LeBron, halfway through the game, is there any way you could do brain surgery? Right? What? No, it's not what I do. This is what I do. This is it right here. This is what I do. This is my job. Do your job. Just once. Later on, figure it out. It's nuts.
See, the thing is, they don't believe in governance, and that requires some acts of government to do that. Perhaps you mistook them for somebody who gives a damn for what you just described. That's the problem. If we're talking about how much and how long, and if we're going to juggle some of this money, let's focus it where it's going to do the most good. And basically, economists tell us, spend the money, invest the money, for those who need it the most, because they will spend it. It will be a stimulus, or at least a stabilization.
Yeah. You think that helps? Does anybody think that helps? No. That's what it is. Let's come out, because I've got a great thing to do here. And for all the crap the Republicans do, they're offering a short-term fix while they continue to negotiate, and the Democrats say no. That's on you at this point. That's on you. Don't be fooled by either of them giving too much of a damn about anything other than their party politics, their personal lives, and the people. Nancy's like, we only care about the people. As long as they vote for us, then we don't care about them if they don't vote for us. And the Republicans are like, we care about everybody as long as they continue to give us a bunch of money and keep us in power. It's the way it works. You're on your own? It's the way it's supposed to be. Government's supposed to do what government's supposed to do, right? Trains on time, roads, make sure that we're safe from foreign invaders, things like that. Like, that's what government's supposed to do. Bailing people out? Normally, I'd say hell no. But when you have states and people across the country are locking down and closing businesses, you're going to need some help. What we don't need is more corporate charity and more special interests bailing out of unfunded liabilities and huge unions who've been overpromised things. We don't need that. Now, if you want to deal with that next week or after your recess, after you get this done, knock yourself out. Do it. But until then, do your damn job. It's that simple. 323-538-2423 at Chad Buzzard Show is your Twitter. So today, jobs, how'd we do, July?
The U.S. economy created 1.8 million jobs in July, reflecting what the Labor Department called the country's continued resumption of economic activity that had been curtailed due to the coronavirus pandemic. The unemployment rate dropped to 10.2%. Economists have said the speed of hiring will depend on the virus. Many consumers remain hesitant to shop when the infection rate is high.
Yeah, and that's something you got to keep in account. It's not just the shutdown. Like, that's big, and it's not just the virus. It's how does that affect you? So if you are worried that you're not going to have a job in a month, and you have a job now, and financially you feel like you're pretty good, but you are worried about the future, and your job is potentially in a precarious situation, chances of you spending money are slim. Why? Because you're protecting it. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I got to be smart. I can't be foolish. I don't know what's happening tomorrow. Other side of things, maybe your job is fine. Maybe you've got a little bit of money, but you're worried about catching something. You're probably not going to be frequenting stores left, right, and center unless you absolutely have to. And we're not just talking about groceries, right? So, because you need consumer goods. That's what drives the marketplace. So that's a part of this that doesn't get talked about, and it needs to get talked about more and more. The mental aspect of this, along with the real aspect of the health side and the blow to the economy. The other side, which is the people that are still working and the reasons they're not spending money, even though they may have it. It's going to do what it does. That's what I think we can all realize. This thing is going to do what it does. Good data is coming out. It's not being talked about because of the panic porn. It's easy and great to turn on the TV and go, oh, my God, look at all the bad things to do. Oh, my God, the world's coming to an end. Oh, my God. All you have to do is go to any news outlet, and it's doom and gloom. It's not doom and gloom. Numbers are getting better. Well, Chad, numbers are getting worse. No, numbers are getting better. At the end of the day, it's about lives. Right? I mean, it's the end of the, isn't that what it's about? Well, we're the worst. We're not the worst. We've got a much harder job in our country than any other country in the world. You have 50 mini countries all doing their own thing. Well, we should have a united front. Try that. Biden's ready to do that. First thing Biden's going to do among all of the other stuff that he's going to do.
So based on what you see now, would you roll back the reopenings?
I'm not going to speculate on that because I don't know
based on what you
it's
see
going to
now.
be. What I see now, I think we
today.
are. If I were president, if I were president today, I would roll back the reopenings in a number of places.
What happens then? Right? What happens then? And the perfect example of this is the great Cuomo, right? Remember him? He's going to be his next president, and he's brilliant. He's in front of the world. He's just amazing. He's incredible. Oh, by the way, he put old people who had COVID back in nursing homes. We won't talk about that. Remember how bad Florida was and Texas was, even Arizona for the fumblings of our governor here, and even Gavin Newsom. Remember how horrible it's the worst. Florida and California combined have over 1 million cases. Yet between them, they have like 17,000 deaths. New York, they doubled that. It won't get talked about. We're getting better at treating it. It's not as deadly as we thought. There are numbers out there you look at and say, good. In some areas of science and data, people are saying, this thing's going to be around a bit, but the reality is the bad's kind of run its course. And there's a lot more people out there, not with the immunity you would think if you had it, but T-cell immunity. And so it's bouncing around and hitting things and going like, no. That's how herd immunity works. It's not always about everybody catches it. So there's good news out there, but you won't see that because good news doesn't sell. Bad news sells great. It's what sells. If it bleeds, it leads. It's not all doom and gloom. It's going to take a while to get ourselves back on the feet. Got to go get that light bulb now. Got to screw it in. Have to replace the other one. Once that happens, we got to turn on the light. Maybe have to go over and, flip the switch. Uh-oh, got tripped. Better figure it out. Oh, it's a fuse. Put it back in, then turn it on. We'll come back, and it'll be strong. And I think we'll learn so many things from this that we can put into future situations, not just about this, but I think economically as well, and how we handle things. Look, what's going to come out of this in the Monday morning quarterbacking and how things got politicized, but also how states are being viewed in a much different way. What do you value most? It's a little bit more freedom, a little bit less government, a little bit more space, a little less taxes. There's a lot of things that are going to come out of this that I don't think people realize going into it. You look at New York and California, the flood of people leaving is tremendous, tremendous. I've always said about California, and I'm a California boy. I was born and raised there. My family, all of my family still lives there. My son lives there. You take California politics, taxes, and you move it to a place where there's 4 seasons, and 2 of those seasons are kind of, that changes fast. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson shows your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me, text the program. Wounded Paw Project is amazing. Talk about a group that does stuff that's just amazing. They work with veterans. That's how it started. But they also expanded to first responders and their families. And first responders right now are just under so much pressure. That's where Wounded Paw comes in to help. They come in because they rescue dogs that would otherwise be euthanized. They take those dogs and train them. And over a period of time, they become service dogs for veterans, first responders, and their family. Veteran may be injured. First responder may be injured. And they'll need that animal to help them with everyday life. Sometimes it's just about having a comfortable person, animal, just something you love that helps you with PTSD and the struggles. They need your help. Several ways you can donate. You can go to smile.amazon.com, set your supporting group to Wounded Paw Project. You can donate a vehicle, which is amazing. Great tax-deductible gift. Car, truck, RV. If it flies, it floats. They'll take it. And you can give cash as well. Find out what you can do and how you can save a paw to save a life by going to woundedpawproject.org, woundedpawproject.org, or call 844-678-4PAW, 844-678-4729. Chad Benson Show.
Check out our Chad Benson Show Facebook page where you can hang out or hang your grievances out to dry. This is Chad Benson.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
Now it's time to find out what's trending. What's trending? Yeah, what does that mean? I mean something, right? Like it's trending on the old internet. What's trending? Let us take a look at the old interwebs. Find out what is trending. Shall we? Let's start over in the magical word of Google. It's a Google. TikTok ban trending. No way. Yep. TikTok. Michelle Obama, she's suffering from a low-grade depression. I don't know what that means. Bryson DeChambeau snaps his driver. That was trending yesterday. NRA trending because of fraud allegations. It's a big announcement. I'm like, I don't care. PGA Championship, number one, over 1 million searches in the last 24 hours. Where you can watch it, TV schedule, all of that stuff. Head on over to Twitter. Find out what everybody hates about each other. Black vote trending. Joe Biden trying to clarify his diversity in Latino and black communities. And here's the funny thing. I explained what I think he meant. Everybody's like, why are you trying to explain that? Because I did the same thing for Trump. This is what I think he meant. Like, I don't think he really meant to call Thailand Thailand. You know, like when he was explaining to Mr. Swan of Axios about the numbers, and he's asking about the overall numbers, and he's explaining I kind of knew where he was going with that, but he did a horrible job. I think Biden yesterday was just trying to say, in the Latino community, you've got Puerto Rican, Cuban, El Salvadorian, Guatemalan, Mexican, and I think that's what he was trying to do. But once again, it was a huge flub. Jobs report out today. That is definitely trending everywhere. Big time. An American Pickle is also, that's the new movie with Seth Rogen. He plays his great-great-grandfather who worked at a pickle factory in like the turn of the 1900s. And there's an explosion and he gets pickled. And then you flash forward to today, and his great-great-grandson finds out, because this guy becomes this, oh, my God, this guy's pickled. And then hilarity kind of ensues, but not really. Not really. I'm going to give a hard pass on that. Might be a great movie. Might be a great, great movie. I don't know. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me and text the program as well. Love hearing from every single one of you. Thailand. It was funny, though.
Shifting production to Thailand.
So awesome.
Shifting production to Thailand.
Where are you guys going for vacation?
Thailand.
Where'd you learn? Where'd you get that?
Thailand.
Nice. It's great. It's fantastic. I'm serious. That's where I got it. I got it Thailand. Hey, where were you? You guys were going to go to Disneyland. You know where I'm going?
Thailand.
That's awesome. People are like, that shows that Trump is mentally unstable. I'm like, so you can't have I have a slip of the tongue all the time. He got it right later. Listen, okay, he did get it right later.
Shifting production to Thailand and to Vietnam. Thailand and Vietnam.
He got it right later. So funny, though. Thailand. I was like, what's he thinking about? I mean, we all know about Thailand, but what's he thinking about? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me, text the program. Love hearing from you, whether you're here or in Thailand, which is fantastic. You ever been to Thailand? It's just beautiful this time of year. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Democrats want a very large approach to this very big problem that they see But Republicans have repeatedly said they want targeted aid to reopen the economy, to get the economy going again. And that's the real focus. Yes, they're out of town. Theoretically, they could be called back. We think the chances of that are very little. So it's better to get them out of town, while you can.
So the Democrats want massive spending and the Republicans want targeted. I'm about targeted spending at this moment in time because we may have to come back to the well again. We may not. Let's target spend. Let's not overspend. What's wrong with that? This is where I side with the Republicans. I want targeted spending. I don't want the pork in there that they tried to put in, but I want targeted spending. Let's deal with this at this moment in time. This is what the crisis is. Let's not project out and put this stuff in here for X amount of months because it will eventually hurt the economy. You know how many people, when we talked about this yesterday, and when we talk about it always, hit me up and say, I can't believe how much money some people are getting. Well, 600 really isn't enough. The average person, I mean, if you project that out, that's almost $50,000 a year when you put in state. Because remember, we're talking about the 600 from the feds. We're not talking about the state as well. So what's wrong with targeted? That's what I want to know.
When they said a skinny proposal, it was anorexic.
Oh, should have called it the Karen Carpenter proposal. Chad. Well, I'm just saying, she's in Thailand. It's anorexic. They want morbidly obese, and the other ones want a skinny proposal. I like the skinny proposal because we're already obese in this country. How about we cut some of the fat off and just do this? Nancy, explain to me why you need all of this money. This should be about COVID. Republicans, I'm looking at you. Some of you over here is like, hey, I got a great idea. I'm going to put this in here because we need more F-55 million fighters. Nah. No, I don't want that. What does that have to do? No, here's the deal. Explain to me this, right? I'll come back to you in a second, Nancy. You stay over there. You sit. Do whatever it is you do. Are these F-35 super fighters, do they fight COVID? No. Okay, then we're not going to put them in there. Now, Nancy, explain to me why you need quadrillions of dollars. Not even regular dollars, quadrillions of dollars. Tell me why. Just, it's a question. I think it's a fair question. Right? It's a fair question. You guys want fat, big.
It's so clear that we should do something, and we should do something big, and we should do it in a way that is bipartisan, as we have done every other bill.
It's up to you. What do you want? You want a fat, giant bill but we still have money left from the last stimulus, or maybe we just do a targeted thing here, right? Why don't we do this? Like, we'll ask Dave Ramsey. Ramsey will like, better than it should be. And then Ramsey will say, well, what you need to do is have your emergency fund. Let's not spend it all at once. Let's ask some of the people that have been survivors on islands for a long time. Do you eat all your food at once? If we could produce more food, but maybe what we're going to try to do is just save some of it for later because we might need it. Might not, right? You see a plane coming, you got all those chocolate bars left, you're starving, eat it. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show, your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. You can text the program. Who would have thought during this election year? So aliens, right? What did DARPA come out with, producer Phil? You might have heard this, that there's all the other dimensions that are out there now.
Pan-dimensional beings?
Yeah. So we got new dimensions. These things are going pretty much unnoticed. Aliens, other dimensions, coronavirus. We're talking about that. We're also talking about the election and the damn mail.
Democrats and Republicans demanding answers from the U.S. Postmaster General, saying he must immediately reverse changes that are creating delivery delays across the country. Members of both parties saying the mail slowdown and not unfounded claims of fraud is a bigger threat to the election. The acting postmaster was a major donor to the president's last campaign.
The postmaster. Do you think anybody goes, my entire life, my only dream is to be the postmaster? That's it. I don't have any other dreams. I'm singular in my thought. I'm laser focused. What does that put you, like 115th in line to be President of the United States? Postmaster General. Bet he gets uniform. So when you're a Surgeon General, you actually get a uniform. You made like an app. I mean, you're a commander. But the Postmaster, my God, that is awesome. Most of you have no idea who the Postmaster General is. Good salary, though. You ready for this in the salary? You guys ready? $291,000. $291,000. I thought that was something they just gave you as an honorary thing. Oh, my God. You'll be Postmaster General? Sure. Do I have to do anything? Nah. I don't have to deliver mail, right? There's no walking involved. I do enough of that. By the way, that's some really cool postmasters. This is just awesome, though. So the guy that's postmaster now, he's pretty awesome. Louis DeJoy. Old Louis, the postmaster, gets to do stuff. That is spectacular. It is, by the way, it's an independent agency of the executive branch. So you're kind of there at the behest of the president. That is just awesome, though. Postmaster. 291 G's? Well, you didn't tell me that. That's some real dollars. That's some cheddar there for being the postmaster. You're making more than senators and Congress people. You're making 291. All right. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson shows your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Trump, Biden, election. Who will win? Alan Lichtman, the prince of predictions.
He has correctly called every White House race since 1984, including President Donald Trump's 2016 victory. American University professor Alan Lichtman.
I have 13 key factors. You should forget the polls, forget the pundits. Keep your eye on the big picture. And that is American presidential elections are essentially votes up or down on the strength and performance of the party holding the White House.
All right. Well, that's, yeah. Polls, I mean, polls are really a mess. I think we all know that. I mean, as bad as look, they got their predictions were wrong, but they weren't awful. Because at the end of the day, in 2016, she did get more votes. So it wasn't like they had her up by 30% and she ended up on the popular side, she won the vote. But the Electoral College, which is all that matters, she didn't win. She didn't. Now, how good is Alan Lichtman? He gets it right.
You look at big picture things like midterm election results, long and short-term economy, scandal, social unrest, foreign policy successes and failures. What I was able to discern, if there are 6 or more negative keys out against the party holding the White House, then their strength and performance is weak enough that it's going to be a change election. And I determined that 2016 was going to be a change election. So I predicted Donald Trump.
Yes, he did. He and Michael Moore, about the only ones out there that predicted Trump. Now, what nobody predicted was Joe Biden's vice presidential candidate, the coronavirus, helping.
Remember, 6 keys or more and you're out. Donald Trump was cruising to re-election in 2019 with only 4 keys against him. Then he made a fundamental mistake. It's governing, not campaigning, that counts. And rather than dealing with the crisis facing the country, he thought he could talk his way out of it. 3 more down keys. The short-term economy, because we're in a recession. The long-term economy, because of the wrenching negative effects on growth this year. And, of course, widespread social unrest.
Yeah. That's not good. And, look, I think we all, if we're honest with ourselves, just a smidge, if we're honest with ourselves, we have no coronavirus. This 2020 election, Trump was probably going to win this thing. Even with some social unrest, Trump was probably going to win this thing. And maybe in just thumping fashion. Because you're not, because who knows, stock market may be sitting at 3,200. You're looking at your 401k, right? You've got a raise. You're thinking to yourself, I might buy a boat. Life feels like it's good. And you're like, I'm not going to undo that. I'm not undoing that. We're at a different time. I mean, nobody, a year ago, if I'd have told you words that you would use are social distancing, pandemic, stay-at-home orders, you'd be like, what the hell are you talking about? But that's where we are. So, Mr. Lichtman, the Prince of Punditry, who's going to win?
That transforms his situation from 4 keys down and a win to now a predicted loss for Donald Trump in November. He can't turn it around because he thinks he can talk his way out of anything. He failed his chance to forestall the loss of these keys by actually substantively dealing with problems rather than trying to gaslight the country.
So he's got Biden in a victory? Is it possible? Of course, everything's possible. I continue to say they will snatch defeat from the jaws of victory, both of them, at least 1 or 2 times. At least 1 or 2 times. Something will happen. What happens if we do get such a major breakthrough in September, October that says, hey, we've got a vaccine? People are like, uh-oh, does that change anything? What if, much like the Spanish/Kansas flu, it slowly dissipates and poof, as quick as it came, it disappears? Well, that's a question. And all of a sudden, things don't look as bleak. And, I mean, there's all kinds of things that are possible. And what if Joe Biden decides, I'm not debating you at all? He has more and more gaffes. He picks somebody that's uber far left. There's a lot that can go into this. You just don't know. And with as unpredictable as we are, I think it is going to be closer than people think. If you asked me today and it was held today, I would say Biden would probably win. But it isn't being held today. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Your Twitter, Chad Benson Show TV on the old YouTube. The tube of you. Rough Greens. My dog Doodle. So let me tell you about my dog Doodle. So Doodle is, I love Doodle. He's my dog. We adopted him. And he was supposed to be like 6. Like, he was in the place for a year, and like nobody really wanted him. And I'm like, oh my God, he's great. And so we call him Doodle. He's got bad hips, got a little little hitch in his giddy up. And we didn't realize how bad his hips were. We thought he was supposed to be like 5 or 6. He ended up being like 10 or 11. He has real issues. And we thought, after a couple of years, we might have to put him down because he's so much pain. And we tried everything. Then we tried Rough Greens. So you sprinkle it on your dog's food, brings your dog's food light. And talk about a difference. Within 10 days, the difference was noticeable. Within 14 days, you're like, are you kidding me? Get ready for this. This is what's insane. You're talking about vitamins, minerals, probiotics, omega-3, 6, and 9, all the stuff that your dog's food doesn't have, and a bunch of other stuff. And it brings their food to life. And the amount of food that we were giving him and just the sprinkle on there and to see the difference and the things that are going on, it's incredible. Now, I tell you, get Rough Greens for your dog. You will love it. Even if your dog's young and healthy, keep him that way. Ailments, just old age, you watch the difference it makes. It does. Roughgreens.com/Chad, RUFFgreens.com/Chad, or call 833-MyDog88, 833-MyDog88. You will not be disappointed. Rough Greens, we make any pet food better. Chad Benson Show.
Being antisocial sucks. Hang with Chad's friends on Facebook, The Chad Benson Show. And if you just need some alone time, head on over to Twitter at Chad Benson Show. Either way, we can't wait to meet the real you.
Central Floridians will have to miss out on the iconic Halloween Horror Nights event. What would have been the 30th edition this year will no longer be leaving fans eager to get spooked by Halloween Horror Nights' 10 haunted houses and scare actors.
Is Halloween Horror Nights, I guess, the biggest event for Universal out of the whole year?
Tremendous revenue generator for Universal.
Would the loss be in the millions?
Oh, tens of millions.
Yeah. Knott's Scary Farm, one of my favorite things to do. They were the ones who started. So Knott's Scary Farm is a amusement park in Southern California. And about 30 years ago, they started doing Knott's Scary Farm. And it was just kind of like 2 nights where you went. It was fun. And now it's a big event, huge event. And they canceled 2 days ago. I'm not canceling Halloween. Damn it, Halloween is my jam. I told the kids, we're doing Halloween. What if there's no trick-or-treating? Don't you worry about that. I got this. I live for Halloween. It's my favorite time of year. Thanksgiving's awesome. Christmas is amazing. We're doing it big. We're doing it. Absolutely. Not letting it go, baby. Not letting it go. No. Not doing that. One of the things I think you have to do with kids, too, is it's the little things like that that you don't realize. You know, they're like, hey, Dad, are we not going to have Halloween? Oh, we're having it. Well, what if people aren't trick-or-treating? We'll figure it out. We'll make it happen. Right? We'll be creative. It's going to be all right. It's going to be. Halloween's not just that day. It's the lead up to it. It's the movies. It's the scary. It's the family night, popcorns, and the haunted. You know, we'll figure it out. But these businesses, it's like this weekend. What's going on? Sturgis for the next 10 days, baby. Let me tell you something. They said, no, we're doing this. People there are worried. Some are worried. Absolutely. It's going to be 250,000 people there, which is half the normal size. But you know what else they're worried about? Having no food to eat when your biggest time goes by. Sometimes you say you've got to weigh this and that. And they're like, hey, can I socially distance as much as possible and do this? I think we can.
The impact will not just be a big loss for Universal Resort, but for Central Floridians who go every year, too.
The popularity, the local popularity is beyond compare. I mean, it's just one of the most attended events. Everybody in masks would be very different. It was the right decision. It's just a very, very sad decision.
I'll make it happen, baby. I'll make it happen. Halloween will not go by on my watch. 323-538-2423 at the Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at me, text the program. Love hearing from you. Oh, yeah. Posted a great question. How many cases of coronavirus have been diagnosed in Thailand? Just want to find out how many cases have been diagnosed there. It's the Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
I'm certain of what the White House would like to see, but I haven't seen any indication of pressure at this point to do anything different than what we're doing. Yeah, we have assurances, and I've discussed this with the regulatory authorities, that they promise that they are not going to let political considerations interfere with a regulatory decision.
Yeah, Dr. Fauci talking about vaccines. Of course not. First and foremost, and this is the problem with politics, politics isn't the answer. It's usually the hurdle. Right? The answer to stuff isn't politics. No, that's like, I got to get over that. That's the politics of it all. It makes me get over it. No, we need to be smart when it comes to the vaccine. These companies aren't going to put something out that goes, all right, you're going to be safe from the coronavirus, but you're going to wish you had it after you take this vaccine. Like, that's not the answer, is politics. It's just whatever that comes out vaccine-wise, it'll be pretty safe. Doesn't mean people won't have issues. Doesn't mean there won't be side effects. Doesn't mean that some people won't have adverse reactions to it. Of course. But politics shouldn't be involved in any of this, but it is. Politics involved in every aspect of our lives. Every aspect of our lives. And it drives us crazy. But for whatever reason, people continue to go back to it. Continue to go back to it. And politics continues to put itself in a situation where they want to be in the middle of everything. Case in point, the politics of trying to get a deal done that should be pretty simple to do when it comes to a stimulus.
We're not going to just keep on coming back every day if we can't get to a deal. We've said by the end of the week we wanted to reach an agreement on the major issues.
Yeah. What are the major issues? Well, how about this? Let's do this right. Let's do this right. What's the right thing to do? Okay, let's negotiate something that's real. How real? Let's deal with it at hand. And the at-hand situation that we have, the cards that we've been dealt are these. Coronavirus, stifling the economy. Some states are in major shutdowns. Lots of people on unemployment through no fault of their own. We're not talking about people who just sucked at their job and they're like, we got to get rid of this person. This person's awful. No, they're not working because of being forced to be shut down, or even though they may be open, their hours have been cut dramatically because nobody's there. Nobody's spending money. They're open a fraction of the time, so through no fault of their own because of the coronavirus. All right. So let's deal with those issues. Not unfunded liabilities, not giant fat lobbyists that help you get your cash and fight against your opponent in upcoming elections, that you got to make sure you keep them happy so they continue to feed at the trough and you continue to feed at their trough. No. Let's deal with what's in front of us.
Democrats want a very large approach to this very big problem that they see, but Republicans have repeatedly said they want targeted aid to reopen the economy, to get the economy going again, and that's the real focus. Yes, they're out of town. Theoretically, they could be called back. We think the chances of that are very little, so it's better to get them out of town, while you can.
Targeted attack. Isn't that what you want? Do we want a surgical strike on this? Well, what's the surgical strike? Let's break it down. $600 a week unemployment federally that have been going out as a respite till we get the economy jump-started. That's gone right now. We bring into these negotiations people who that $600 will help them. In many cases, save their ass. Some cases, it's better than it is before when they were working. But that can be for a limited time. We can't make this forever. And so let's put these things out there based on 90-day periods. 90-day periods. We don't need to fund the world for the next 90. Let's do 90-day chunks. Let's make it targeted. Let's take all the other stuff out there. Let's make this very, 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 very targeted. But we can't, because everybody wants way too much.
It's so clear that we should do something, and we should do something big, and we should do it in a way that is bipartisan, as we have done every other bill.
What did I say earlier this week? When you hear bipartisan and we're working together to get something done, what does that usually mean? It doesn't mean that we're taking things out. It doesn't mean that we're looking out for the long-term future in the best interest. What it says to me is, hey, guess what? We're going to come together and we're going to spend more of your money. And we're going to make sure that everybody gets fed that doesn't need to get fed at this moment in time. That's what that means. Skinny bill? That's what we were looking for? I think so.
When they said a skinny proposal, it was anorexic.
Good. That's what it should be. We're already overfed. Too many of us nutritionally overachieve. Let's take a step back. Let's focus what's at hand. Can't, Sarge, can't. We need hundreds of quadrillions and gazillions of dollars for tons of failing cities and states across who were failing, by the way, financially in some cases before this. This just put them on hyperspeed. And that includes some red states. It isn't all blue. So how about we focus on, let's get the deal done, let's get a bill done, let's get this done in such a way that people can take a deep breath, figure out what they're going to do. On top of that, we need to look at how we protect people. Okay, they're not going to be evicted. That's fine. That sounds great, except for one thing. Many of those landlords aren't the billion-dollar giant property owners. They're mom and pop, small real estate investors. They're still having to pay their mortgage. They're watching their life and their finances get crushed. How do we help them too? Targeted attacks in a smart way is what we need. The end goal is to get through this, which we will. To get the economy back rocking and rolling, which we will. We don't need to jump from step to step. Let's just take one step at a time. Stop spending other people's money the way that you've been spending other people's money for just once. Both sides. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. We're going to take a little vacation here in an upcoming week. I was trying to figure out where to go, and I thought to myself,
Thailand.
Yeah, probably. That'd be great. Thailand would be fantastic. I don't know. I don't know what it costs to go to Thailand. I have no idea what it cost. Probably expensive, I would assume. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me, text the program as well. TikTok is hearing the TikTok.
The president says that when Americans download these apps, they're putting their privacy at risk. So now he is putting TikTok and WeChat on notice, ramping up the pressure for these Chinese-owned companies to sell these apps. Now, TikTok responding, saying they are shocked by this executive order. The president giving American companies just 45 days to stop doing business with the apps.
45 days. Can they do it in 45 days? Is that possible? I think it is. I think it is. 45 days is possible, I think, to get a deal done with some of these big companies, and I think they'll come up with something. What TikTok is going to do, because, people are kind of pissed, and I understand that. But look, when it comes to China, sorry. The trust level has been broken for 2+ decades when it comes to doing any kind of business or dealings, and the more that we find out, the more that we should defer anything they want to give us and start looking to do business elsewhere. There are plenty of nations out there, if you're looking for cheap labor that would be cheap based on us, but okay for them, that we could be working in. But I got zero problems with moving away from China and what they provide.
We know that Microsoft has been in negotiations to purchase the platform. Those negotiations now on a firm deadline. And the Trump administration says that these Chinese-owned platforms are a national security threat. And that when millions of Americans download them, they're putting their privacy and their data directly in the hands of the Chinese government. Now, of course, TikTok has pushed back against those claims. Today, they are saying this sets a dangerous precedent.
Really? Why? Because if the British come up with something, we're like, we can't let the British do that. Japanese come up with something, can't let them. The Koreans, no, sorry, it's you guys. It's you guys. You. Russians, it's you. Ukrainians, you guys are always trying to hack into stuff and Bitcoin somebody to death. No. Chinese, sorry, I don't trust you. Going to say it. Going to throw it out there. Oh, you don't like the Chinese people? Did I say that? No. People take it that way? Well, I don't really care. You trust Xi? You trust the communist government? You trust I love it when they'll come out and they'll say stuff like, Trump, he's a dictator, fascist pig. He's like Hitler. All the while, and I've seen it because I flipped through, the kids got the TikTok and I'm looking at them like, ugh, and I sit there and I laugh because some of the stuff that's on there is crazy. And I'm just like, all the while the Uyghurs are being shipped off in the tens of thousands, in the millions. Who knows? 2.5, 3 million? 2 million? Definitely well over 1 million or 2. Shaved heads. Oh, they don't exist, though, right? Good God. We need to start doing things here and with people and countries we trust. 2 ways the world's going to go. We need to start making those real choices right now. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. You can text the program as well. WoundedPawProject.org. Go there. Help them out. Tell you the great thing about Wounded Paw Project. What they're doing in saving these animals. So they rescue these dogs, train them to be service dogs for veterans, first responders, and their family. It is, it's the Lord's work. It really is. They're saving a paw to save a life. And that's what these dogs are doing. They need your help. There's a great way to give. Plenty of ways. You can go to smile.amazon.com and set your supporting group. You can donate a car, truck, RV, boat, flies, floats. They don't care. They'll take it. It is awesome. It really is. Great tax deductible gift. They also accept cash. And with all of the things that are going on with our first responders right now, they're in need. The work they're doing is amazing. Find out how you can give. See the work they're doing. Go to woundedpawproject.org. That's woundedpawproject.org. Find out how you can help or call 844-678-4PAW, 844-678-4729. You'll be saving a paw to save a life. Chad Benson Show.
Boys, give me a bowl of chili with plenty of peppers. One Mexican heartburn. Why don't you mugs grow up?
The Chad Benson Show, where independent, a la carte thinkers have a seat at the table and a voice in the dialogue.
I'll have what she's having.
This is Chad Benson.
We've learned that some Republican operatives with ties to the Trump campaign have been working to get the rapper on several state ballots. It's a political move that could be aimed at trying to sway young voters away from Biden.
Oh, my God. Kanye? Kanye was trying to get on ballots all by himself. That would be so awesome.
Adding to the drama on the trail, Kanye West.
Kanye does not add to drama. All right? He doesn't. He is drama. To add to drama, that's Kim Kardashian. Kanye himself is just drama. That's why he is what he is. He's great. How about this for debates? All right. So I want you guys to take a step back for a second, right? So we've got Donald Trump, right? Who, as we all know, loves
Thailand.
We do. And then you've got the likes of Joe Biden, right? Who God only knows what he's saying right now.
What you all know, but most people don't know, unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things. Unlike the African American community.
Yeah. So we've got two guys who have more than a few slip-ups. If you ask me today, who do I think mentally is there more? I think I have far more questions about Biden than I do Trump. Far more. Far, far more. In saying that, instead of debates, so instead of them getting out there or doing whatever debate they're going to do. Trump's standing in a room by himself, and there's a TV screen next to him with Biden's head. Instead of that, we have 2 debates. So we have 2 debates, and they debate it out, and they yell at each other, and they do whatever it is that they're going to do, and they're going to accuse each other of all kinds of crap, and blah, 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 blah. The third debate is not a debate, but they're cognitive specialists. So doctors dealing with, I'm going to say it, the elderly, who on live TV put them through a series of tests to see what their mental acuity is like. Are they in a good position? Are they healthy? All right. And then, are you ready for this? Are you guys with me on this one? Just like the NFL Combine, we measure all of the other things, right? So we'll see how many bench presses they could do at 250 or 225. What's their 60? Do they have a 60-inch vertical? What's their 40 time? So we know exactly what we're getting. I think it's a good thing. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
He's calling it the Make Billionaires Pay Act. Bernie Sanders proposing a tax of 60% on the gains of America's billionaires during the pandemic. Now, Sanders saying billionaires have added over $730 billion to their wealth since mid-March, with the top 3 billionaires now worth more than the bottom half of the entire American population. Now, he tweeted, "When so many of our people are hurting, it is morally obscene for billionaires to use a global pandemic as an opportunity to make outrageous profits."
Okay, morally obscene. Not quite sure. Like, why is it morally obscene? I'm curious. Like, who are you to judge somebody's morals? Right? You don't want anybody else judging you. Am I right? I think it's fair. I'm not here to judge billionaires. Why? I always wonder this. Maybe people on the left, you guys can help me, right? Because I know I have people on the left that listen to the show. Why are you obsessed with OPM, other people's money? Why is that? Like, why are you obsessed with what somebody makes? I don't care that Zuckerberg's worth $100 billion. If he's worth $0, it doesn't change my life. It's not like you take that, it's like, you're not getting any of that. Oh, yeah, we will. No, you're not. Bernie's always into trying to get other people's money to pay for stuff that he wants to do.
Emergency actions taken by the Federal Reserve to prop up the stock market have meant that 467 billionaires saw their wealth go up by over $730 billion since the pandemic began. Bezos has increased his wealth by over $70 billion. Senator Sanders also calls out Walmart's Walton family, Tesla's Elon Musk, and Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg for making billions of dollars during the pandemic and then trying to juxtapose that with what they've done for some of their workers along the way.
Okay. So they've given you jobs. Yeah, but that's wrong. They should give us money. No, they've given you jobs. You've chosen your path in life. And if your path in life leads you to the fact that the job that you can get pays you $12 an hour, that's not his fault. It's not my fault. It's not. It's a personal responsibility here. They took a different path, and that different path led them to a different success, and that different success has led them to wealth. I don't care what they make. Do you care what they make? I mean, do you honestly, really? Well, I'm always curious why OPM, other people's money, means so much. Not saying they shouldn't pay taxes. 60% wealth tax? Is that really something that you'd be into?
He then said by taxing 60% of the wealth gains made by just 467 billionaires during this pandemic, we could guarantee health care as a right for an entire year. And billionaires would still be able to pocket over $310 billion in gains during the worst downturn since the Great Depression.
Why don't you just take all their money? Well, Chad, now you're being stupid. No, I think it's a fair question. Why don't you just do that? Well, that's silly. It's to me though. I'm curious about the thought process of other people's money, because I've never thought about it. You know, when I see somebody that's successful, my first thought, it's weird, I know, it's like, what? Yeah, you got a first thought? How'd they do it? And other people see success and they think, how can I take from it? Some people are lucky. Some people are really, really good at what they do. Some people a little bit of both. I think in life you have to be a little bit of both. I had a lot of people around who helped me get to where I've gotten to. Never denied that. Even I'm loyal as hell. I bust my butt. I sacrificed a ton. I'm always just curious about the thought process of other people's money. It just never ever dawned on me to take something, first of all, to judge them morally based on their money. Like, if you judge somebody based on the color of their skin, people freak out. But you go and you judge them based on the wealth that they've accumulated, and somehow, some way, shape, or form, you're the worst person around because you've accumulated wealth. And the only way to do that is to rob, cheat, and steal. That's it. So people who create hundreds of thousands of jobs here in this country and worldwide are bad people because they have wealth. It's just bizarre. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me and text the program as well. Speaking of just weird stuff, there's a perfect example of politics and wackiness when it comes to science. Right? And climate change is, before the coronavirus came, climate change was a great place to have a battle of science and politics in so many ways.
Climate crisis is a racist crisis.
Today's continuing anti-racism protests include the claim that fossil fuel use is racist because climate change will hurt minorities most. Therefore,
the fossil fuel industry will have to pay.
But I wonder, have these people ever asked themselves,
can you turn your lights on in the morning?
Yeah, I can. How about you? Can everybody turn your lights off in the morning? Yeah, and turn them on. Leave them on sometimes because got the these bulbs. They cost virtually nothing to run all the time. Your computer goes on, right? You charge your cell phone.
Energy journalist Robert Bryce just made this documentary, Juice, about the importance of electricity.
Having electricity doesn't guarantee wealth, but not having it almost always means poverty. Electricity has allowed people, and in particular women and girls, to escape the drudgery of past eras. It's liberated them from the pump, the stove, and the wash tub.
The mothers are spending all day long just doing the basic household chores, collecting water.
You don't have a fridge, so you have to cook every evening.
Yeah, that's crazy, right? Like we think about, because we live in this woke world, right? Like we're woke and all of this stuff, and fossil fuels are bad. Think about how much of the globe, and you're going to be surprised when you hear numbers about how much of the globe doesn't have running electricity. How much of the globe has partial access to electricity. And not having electricity. I mean, we go without being able to eat at the restaurants we like or go to see movies, and we lose our crap. Could you imagine not having electricity?
The power goes off, and I began crying.
When there's no power, people often heat their homes by burning things like cow dung.
Every year in India, more than 1 million people die from indoor air pollution.
That pollution's a much bigger killer than the fossil fuels American politicians complain about.
There's no debate as to whether we should continue producing fossil fuels. There's no debate.
No debate? But without fossil fuels, much of the world will freeze in the dark. We just don't yet have enough alternatives to gas and oil.
Yeah, and I think we should absolutely be looking for alternatives to all of these things. We should always be looking to better ourselves and use the science and the knowledge we have to grow, to make things more efficient, to make things better. There's no doubt in my mind. And at the same time, come on.
We're here in Iceland. As you can see, this country has enormous hydropower potential.
Iceland gets most of its power from constantly moving water. And because Iceland also has hot springs, it gets a quarter of its juice from geothermal power. But even in Iceland, they still burn oil. There just isn't enough renewable energy to power everything.
There's not. There's not. And the stuff that's out there, let's be real, is what? It's expensive. It isn't cheap. It's like eating healthy isn't cheap. We have an epidemic in our country of obesity, especially amongst the poor. Why? Because eating healthy is expensive.
There are over 3 billion people in the world today without adequate access to electricity. We're going to need a lot more juice.
But what about climate change? We're told we must move to renewable energy.
The planet is dying, and all we need to do is spend more on researching green power.
In every case where you've had massive infusions or requirements for renewable energy, you've seen costs increase.
So what? The planet is dying.
But it's regressive. It's going to have a bigger impact on low-income and middle-income Americans. That's putting a higher tax burden on the people who can least afford it.
Yeah. Renewable energy sounds great. Who doesn't want to? I would love to have a car where you turn it on and it comes on all the time and it doesn't burn and I don't have to stop and get gas. Raise your hand if that's something you're interested in. Fantastic. Who is it? Dude, it's great, man. I turn my car on. I get a quadrillion miles to the whatever because it's not even a gallon anymore. It goes forever. It is nonstop. Doesn't burn anything. Every time I turn it on, a penguin is born. Isn't that great? We're not there. We're not there. We're where we are right now. Once again, how do we go from point A to point B? Well, it's going to take investment, yes, but it's also going to take the reality of it's not happening overnight. And to penalize do you think people in Africa who are starving, who are going through a civil war, who are getting frustrated because their kids are trying to go to school, they don't have access to running water the way that we do? How much water we waste on a daily basis? God only knows. They don't have access to electricity on a daily basis that is absolutely something that they know is stable. Do you think for an instance they're sitting around going, global warming? No, they're trying to live their life and they want the same things we want. And they look over at us and say, well, why do you guys get to tell the rest of the world that this is what you guys should be doing? That's why when you go and look at all these proposals that come out, a lot of what it is, hey, guess what? All you wealthy Western countries, you pay a premium and we'll make sure these countries, they don't really get much, but we'll throw them a little cash every now and then. No, it's stupid. They want the same thing we want. We're not there. We'll get there. We're not there yet.
Electricity matters so much. It's cruel to talk about limiting its use.
How are we going to have a population, all these bright young minds, if they're not plugged in? We have to plug them in now.
4 billion people are not going to say, we'll give up progress if it just slows global warming.
Energy poverty versus climate change. There is no easy one-size-fits-all solution. The only certainty is that people will do whatever they have to do to get the electricity they need.
Yeah. We will get there. And it's going to come from it may come from a small village in Africa with some kid who's just beyond brilliant, right? A little kid in Indonesia who for years is working on something, and for whatever reason, God's touched them and said, this guy, this right here. and they come up with something that's boom. But it's going to take time. But we will get there. But until then, this is what we've got. So we need to figure out how to make it burn cleaner, how we make it last longer, miles per gallon and such, how we can fuse the two, like we can fuse them together. That'd be awesome. The thought process of like, we just have to get rid of it. It's like, okay, then what? You're not going to be able to TikTok. You're not going to be able to live stream. Or you will for like 8 or 10 hours. Then eventually, if it went, well, Chad, 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Raycon's best earbuds around. How good are they? The best earbuds around. So normally you'd pay about $250 for earbuds like this. You get those little white stems. I saw somebody on TV the other day because everybody's out of their house working, and they were interviewing somebody, and the little white stems were sticking out so far. I thought, those what is that? It's like antennas. Don't get those. Raycons, they just go right in. They fit right in your ear. It's so comfortable. It's amazing. Jeez, I just sit there and I'm like, 6 hours of talk time? Yeah. Seamless Bluetooth pairing, better bass, better sound design. Cardi B loves them. Snoop Dogg, oh yeah. So will you. Well under $100. E25s. Get yours now. BuyRaycon.com/Chad. When you go there, you save 15% extra. BuyRaycon.com/Chad. BuyRaycon.com/Chad. Chad Benson Show.
Warning, no snowflake zone. Uninformed opinions are in danger of melting. The Chad Benson Show.
The controversy is over the Trolls World Tour Giggle and Sing Poppy doll, which is based on the Anna Kendrick character from the Trolls movie. It has a button between the doll's legs that makes giggling sounds when you press it. A Change.org petition says the doll could make children think it's fun when someone touches their private area, and that pedophilia and child molestation are okay. Hasbro says it recognizes that the placement of the sensor may be perceived as inappropriate, though that wasn't the intention, and the doll is being pulled from shelves.
Yeah, a little weird, to be honest with you. Like, there's nowhere, you couldn't have put it anywhere else? There was nowhere else. Like, so when you design the doll, You're putting it together, and everybody's like, all right, we got to have the button. Nobody in the room, nobody throughout the entire process of the designing of the doll at Hasbro, nobody, not one single person raised their arm and threw out a question. Person who's head designer. It's got to be a guy, right? Because, it's person who's head designer. Hey, do you think maybe putting the button of the female troll doll at her hoo-ha is probably not the best thing? That may be perceived as something that is bad. Nobody else raised that question. Nobody did. It's odd. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us and text the program. Love hearing from every single one of you. Check out Chad Benson Show TV. We'll have new videos up there later on today. So I threw it out there, and I want to hear from you. It's open all day, the old Twitter. I'm going to do the same thing on Monday for Trump. But today was Joe Biden's turn. It's simple. Without saying Trump sucks, I hate him, he's evil, blah, blah, blah. Give me a policy. Give me policies and what you're looking for that you say that's the guy, Biden. A lot of people like, I would, even if he shoots somebody, I'll take him. Okay, that's not a policy. Empathy, by the way, I've got a few of those. Not a policy. It's not a policy. Healthcare is going to keep Obamacare. Trump and the Republicans failed to do anything with healthcare. They weren't going to get anything passed. But they did. They failed. They failed. I'll give you that. But tell me, the policy that you think is why you're voting for him, and not just the hate. I hate him because he's a jerk. I hate him because he's evil and bad. Hey, tell me a policy. Like, oh, I think he's going to restore, the economy to its rightful glory because of X, Y, and Z. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at me, text the program. Smooth, lovely week. Hey, smile. We're going to get through this. Have a good weekend. Think good thoughts. Be kind to each other. We'll do it again on Monday. As I always say, kids, night-night, Jack.
This is the Chad Benson Show.